Hi, welcome to this module, the story behind the 5 steps. At this point, you might be asking at the back of your mind, who is this old lady and how did she discover the 5 steps? In this module, please allow me to tell you a little bit about myself. Let me assure you that this is only to give you the context about how I discovered the 5-step process and why I'm even sharing them with you. At this point in my life, I'm an author of 3 business books. I'm a professional speaker and a local and international awardee in women entrepreneurship. I'm also a certified Negosyo mentor and coach at all 3 levels. And I'm also a certified transformation coach of Innovate, among all my other certifications. Before I retired and turned over our businesses to our kids, my husband and I were serial entrepreneurs. We were franchisees of Chowking for 18 years, licensees of a nationwide computer school, STI College, for 28 years. We ran a pension house for 18 years, a computer repair shop chain. I started a pawn shop chain and a jewelry store chain of more than 30 stores. Now, I'm telling you all this not to impress you, but to let you know that if I can be this successful, you can achieve all these and more. And you can do it faster and easier if you take the lessons that I learned and make them your shortcuts to your success. You see, my life has not always been like this. Even as a child of 3, my dream has always been to be a teacher. And as I grew up, my dream became very much similar as every Filipina's dream. To finish college, which for me was a degree in education. To marry my Prince Charming and to have 2 kids, a boy and a girl. Of course, to have a house and a car later. So, at 25 years old, I was living my dream. I was happily married to my high school sweetheart. We had our first baby girl, Chu, and I was teaching math in Ateneo, the most prestigious school in Zamboanga City. So, life was good. But when baby Chu turned a month old, my husband became unemployed and I became the breadwinner. Even when we were living hand to mouth, however, we were a happy family. Until one payday. That day, as I started counting my salary, I realized that in a few weeks, my pay would not be enough for my baby's milk. Chu will go hungry, I thought, and I panicked. I need to find another means of income, I thought. But what? And then I saw my co-teachers and I thought, I'm sure I can sell them something that they need. It must have been my mother's instinct. I forgot my shyness. I set aside my being an introvert. I started asking each and everyone in the faculty room, is there anything that you need that I can sell to you? Notice that this was how I started. I did not start with a product. I started with the people whom I can serve. I started with those that were accessible to me. Most teachers said they needed sacks of rice. Others said trays of eggs. Others did not have any need in mind. But when they heard that the first teachers wanted rice and eggs, they also wanted the same things. Of course, I did not have any capital to buy those things. But I realized that I had friends and relatives who sold them, and I went to ask them if they'd sell to me on consignment. This meant that they'd give me the products first, and then I'd pay them after I'd be able to collect. Most of them did not agree, but some generously agreed. And so, my business began in the school where I worked. Before long, the number of my customers grew. I sold to teachers, employees, and even the security guards. I'd go from grade school to high school to college, and even to graduate school to sell and to collect. What was fun was that I was making a lot of friends, and before long, they also asked me to sell them small appliances and watches, among other things. Until one day, a clinical instructor, a good friend, Paul Bernardo, asked me to sell him a diamond ring, and he became my first customer. He became my first customer in my jewelry business. Little did I know then, but I found my calling. You see, the gold jewelry industry must have been hardwired in my DNA, because in the 1900s, my maternal grandfather came to Zamboanga from China as a young jewelry maker. That was his livelihood that allowed him to send home money to his aging mother back in China. After he married my Lola, a Filipina, he supported his family by making jewelry for the Muslims and the American GIs. It was my Lola who sold them. Because jewelry making was physically exhausting, my Lolo decided to change businesses. But he failed again and again. So he went back to making jewelry to feed his children. Later, it was his loyal clients who convinced him to start a pawn shop. It was because they trusted him and they wanted to pawn their jewelry with him. Now, I was born and raised in Manila, but in my teens, my parents' businesses went bankrupt. And for us to survive, we were forced to migrate to Zamboanga. My mother had to work for my grandparents in their pawn shop, and there she learned how to appraise and sell jewelry. Jewelry was an industry that I was familiar with. I had some experience with it when I was younger, but I never thought of getting into it until Paul decided that he needed a diamond ring. Although I never really loved wearing jewelry, I suddenly saw the business potential. I asked my mother to teach me more about it, and soon, I was selling more jewelry than rice, eggs, watches, and small appliances. Then, because jewelry was easier to transport than those other products, I focused all my efforts on selling jewelry. Pretty soon, when my profit became bigger than my salary, I quit teaching. Together with my husband, we went into the jewelry business. I loved being a full-time businesswoman because it allowed me to play with Chu. I brought her with me everywhere I went. And little did I know that in her little brain, I was already planting the seeds of entrepreneurship. Little did I know that Chu was absorbing every word of conversation I had and every bit of experience that went on around her. That's one of the huge blessings of being a businesswoman. I owned my time and I had the freedom to do what I wanted whenever I wanted to.